Hello students, see in your surrounding, there are number of things, most of are visible and some are invisible, but we cannot deny their existence. So, in this topic we will learn the different states of matter. As we know that particles of matter can neither be created nor destroyed, but converts into one form to another by changing the temperature and pressure as well as their attractive forces. Particles have different attractive forces, so these particles mainly remains into three states. Let us study with the help of this fundamental activity as shown in this video. Particles of matter have attractive forces between them. It is known as cohesive force. It is different in different states of matter. Like in solid, attractive force is very strong than liquid. Liquid has weak attractive forces than solid. But in gas, this force is very weak. The strength of attractive forces give rise to different state of matter. Take an example of water, that is solid form of ice, liquid water and vapors. All these are different states of matter. In solid ice, particles are vibrating. They are unable to move from their position. They are in a fixed position. Their attractive forces are very strong than the liquids. They are in a fixed dimension, so have specific shape. Due to that, ice has fixed shape and fixed volume. Similarly, like all solid material, iron, wood, plastic have fixed shape and fixed volume. Water is in a liquid state of matter. In this state, molecules have less attractive forces. They are in a kinetic motion. The hydrogen bond holds to them together. The intermolecular space is more, so water can flow from one container to another. It has no fixed shape. It takes the shape of container. This property is known as fluidity. Similarly, all liquids can flow and have no fixed shape. The attractive force between the particles is very strong in liquid as compared to gases. Vapors have very weak attractive force. They are moving from one place to another place with the kinetic energy. As a result, gases has no fixed shape and no fixed volume. These are in a Brownian motion. Similarly, air, helium and hydrogen gases also not have fixed shape and the volume. This is the third state of matter. Can we change the state of matter? Yes, we know we can. We have seen ice melt into water. Water boils into vapors. We shall know about the process of change of state of matter by changing the temperature and pressure as a compressibility. On the basis of intermolecular force of attraction, particles remains into different state of matter. Matters are classified on the basis of their physical property and chemical nature. In this chapter, we will study on the basis of physical property like solid, liquid and gases. Let us study the physical property of solid of matter. Already we have seen three-dimensional structure of the different state of matter. Now, the solid have strong intermolecular force of attraction. That force is known as cohesive force. So these particles are compactly packed. The intermolecular space is very less. Hence, the rate of diffusion is negligible. All particles are arranged at fixed place. That's why they have fixed shape, size and volume. So solid state of matter not able to compress. By applying pressure, it will break but unable to compress. Each particle has fixed mass and high density. Solid particles vibrate but unable to move from one place to another place. their kinetic energy is very less. Now we will discuss about the liquid state of matter. In liquid state, particles have weak intermolecular force of attraction as compared to solid, but higher than gases. These particles are loosely packed at specific extent, so the intermolecular space is more than solid, but less than gases. These particles are able to move from one place to another with a kinetic energy. So these particles are in a kinetic motion. Liquid state of molecules are easily flow. That property is called as fluidity. Any small sized particle easily can occupy the intermolecular space in between the particle. So the rate of diffusion is more than solid but less than gas. Liquid state of molecules do not have fixed shape, size, but have fixed volume. As per the container shape and size, they are taking as a volume. We are unable to compress the liquid. Now we will study the third state of matter, that is gas. Gaseous particles have very weak intermolecular force of attraction. These particles are continuously moving from one place to another. Their kinetic energy is higher. These molecules strikes on each other and changes their direction. Such a movement is known as Brownian movement, zigzag movement. Gaseous molecules easily flow. That property is nothing but the fluidity. Gaseous molecules have large intermolecular space. Due to that, there is a large or higher rate of diffusion as compared to water. We can compress the gas easily by applying high pressure and decreasing volume and temperature. Gaseous state of particles do not have definite shape, size, but the volume as per the container. It has very less density. An aura is an ionized state of particles of gases that depicting the fluorescence effect. It is referred as polar light. It is a natural light that displays in the Earth's sky, predominantly seen in the high latitude region, that is Arctic and Antarctic. The sun emits light with small particles. The protective magnetic field around the earth that shields us from the sunlight. We don't even notice them. But sun doesn't send the same amount of energy at all the time. It depends upon the solar wind. Sometimes it ejects solar storm. When it travels towards us, some of energy travel down at north and south poles. Then the particle interact with these gases in our atmosphere, resulting the beautiful displays of light. They are emitting the light. That light is in different color. Atmospheric gases like as oxygen and nitrogen are showing very nice fluorescent color. Oxygen gas, which is showing, you can see in the picture, oxygen gas is showing green and blue color light. At the same time, maximum amount of nitrogen gas is present. That gas is showing blue and purple color shade due to the ionized state of nitrogen gas. This state of matter is known as plasma. It is nothing but the highly or super excited, highly energetic state of particles, charged particles, and due to that they are emitting the light and we get very beautiful formation of the color. That is nothing but the brightness of the light. Now we will study the next topic of the chapter, that is nothing but the interconversion of state of matter. There are mainly three states of matter, that is solid, liquid and gases. The phenomena of change from one state of matter to another and then back to original state is called as interconversion of states of matter. Matter can be changed from one state to another by changing temperature, changing pressure, as well as changing both temperature and pressure. When matter is heated, it changes from solid to liquid or liquid to gas. It happens reversely also. When we cool it, then it shows reversible phenomena. On decreasing the pressure, liquid evaporates and changes into gaseous state. At the same time, when we increase the pressure of a gas, then on that gas in a container, then gas liquefies, means it converts into liquid state. That change is nothing but the gases to liquid state. So these three states of matter are interconvertible by changing the temperature as well as the pressure. Due to that, they are changing their physical state. Their arrangement as a geometrical arrangement is slightly changing, and due to that they are in a different state of matter. We will study this tricyclic diagram. In this diagram, three states of matter are showing, that is solid, liquid and gas. Solid converts into liquid state on heating. That process is known as melting. It is also known as latent heat of fusion because particles separate from each other and convert into the liquid state. It's a reversible process, means liquid convert into solid. So liquid particles have energy, they release out their energy and convert into solid state. That is nothing but we can say it's a freezing also. On freezing, liquid convert into solid, otherwise on solidification. Another change, that is nothing but the liquid to gas. When liquid convert into gaseous form, that process is known as evaporation. Without boiling, due to number of factors, liquid convert into the gaseous state, that is evaporation. But one more state we can explain here. When we heat the liquid, when we boil the liquid, then liquid convert into vapor state. That process is known as boiling and also known as latent heat of vaporization. So at the place of gas, we can say there liquid convert into vapors, and the reversible process of the gas or liquid, gas or vapors, it can convert into liquid state by releasing their maximum energy. That process is known as condensation. One of the interconversion, that is nothing but the solid to gas or gas to solid without coming into the intermediate state, that is a liquid state. Solid directly convert into gaseous state and gas also directly convert into solid state. That process is known as sublimation. Now we will study the another phenomena, that is nothing but the change in state of matter, that is liquid on heating convert into the vapor state at atmospheric pressure. That process is known as boiling point. We will take here example of boiling point of water. When we supply heat energy to the water molecules, or particles, all particles of water start moving fastly. At certain temperature, particles have enough energy to break the force of attraction or hydrogen bonding of each other. They break their hydrogen bond and becomes alone. A single particle, a lone particle, is unable to absorb maximum amount of energy, means more than 100 degree. Then at the constant 100 degree temperature, the liquid starts changing into the vapor state at the atmospheric pressure. That is known as boiling process, and that temperature is known as boiling point of water. It is endothermic reaction. The vapors are formed after boiling of water, and due to that, steam temperature is slightly more than the boiling water. Once the water has begun to boil, the temperature remains constant at 100 degrees Celsius until all the water has changed into steam. The heat supplied does not increase the kinetic energy, so no rise in temperature of the boiling water. That is called as latent heat of vaporization. Means the amount of heat energy is required to change 1 kilo of liquid into vapors at atmospheric pressure. That is called as boiling point of water, and this process is known as bulk phenomena. It is bulk phenomena. Bulk means large quantity. All water molecules are in a same energetic state. Same amount of energy is absorbed. So that is the reason it is called as bulk phenomena. Let us see the activity, that is animated activity, with the help of this animated diagrammatic activity. Look that activity carefully. Take a boiling tube and fix it in a stand as shown in this animation. Pour some water into the boiling water tube. Suspend a thermometer into the boiling tube. Heat the boiling tube with the help of burner as shown in the animation. Notice the temperature of the thermometer in every minute. You will notice that as the temperature reaches 100 degrees Celsius, the water in the boiling tube starts boiling. It starts to convert into the vapor state at a particular atmospheric pressure. That temperature is known as boiling point of water. At that time, the thermometer reading will remain constant continuously. Up to that moment, water will convert into the vapor state. Now, we will study one more phenomena of a interconversion of state of matter, that is melting point of ice. The process of solid converts into liquid on heating at atmospheric pressure. That phenomena is known as melting point of any type of the solid. Here we have taken ice. On increasing the temperature of solids, the kinetic energy of particles increases. Due to that, particles starts vibrating with greater speed, then leave their fixed positions and start moving more freely. Hence, solid convert into liquid state at atmospheric pressure. That phenomena is known as melting point. Ice melts at 0 degrees Celsius or 273.16 Kelvin. It is endothermic process. Heat energy is absorbed by ice without showing any rise in temperature. That constant hidden energy is the latent heat of ice. The amount of heat energy is required to change 1 kilo of solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point is called as latent heat of fusion. It is surface phenomena because the molecules or particles of ice which are at outermost side of the solid ice cube that come in contact with atmospheric air, initially they are absorbing heat and separating from each other and will convert into liquid state. Then innermost particles will start to absorb the heat. In this way, those come in contact that will melt initially. Due to that, melting point is surface phenomena. Now we will study this melting point of ice in the form of activity. That activity is in the form of animated. Now take a laboratory thermometer and suspend in a glass bowl with the help of stand as shown in animated diagram. Also make sure that the thermometer is in the middle of the glass bowl and also that its distance between the bottom of the bowl and the bottom end of the thermometer at about 1 centimeter above. Take some ice cubes and fill the bowl with them. Take the reading on the thermometer after every minute. You will notice that in the beginning the temperature of ice cubes in the glass bowl was much below as a 0 degree Celsius. But later on temperature start rising towards the 0 degree Celsius, and when it reaches 0 degree Celsius some water gets collected at bottom of the bowl. Now the bowl has both water and ice in it. It indicates that at 0 degree Celsius water and ice coexist together. At this stage temperature stop rising until all the ice cubes are turned into the water state. In this way we studied the melting of ice. Ice melts at 0 degree temperature as well as ice cold water is also remains at 0 degree temperature. Due to that here it is considered as water and ice coexist at 0 degree, but ice always melts into water slightly more degree temperature, slightly more than 0 degree temperature, then that ice start to convert into the liquid state, but they remains as in the ice cold water form at the same degree temperature because their latent heat energy is similar. Now how to measure the temperature? Students, we studied this in a previous classes, the different measuring scales of the temperature. There are 3 methods or 3 ways we are measuring temperature, that is Fahrenheit, Celsius and Kelvin. All of you see on the thermometer and its level reading, you read this level of mercury related to freezing water as well as boiling water. Initially you read the thermometer containing mercury metal which is shown here red color. Read the red color mercury level, that is for the freezing water in Fahrenheit as well as Celsius and Kelvin. In Fahrenheit it is 32 degree Fahrenheit. In Celsius the thermometer means mercury level is at 0 degree. Freezing temperature of ice in Kelvin, that is at 273 Kelvin. As well as if we want to read the mercury level for boiling water, in Fahrenheit it is 212 Fahrenheit. For Celsius degree, that is nothing but the 100 degrees Celsius water boils, and water boil at the same degree temperature but get measured into Kelvin, that is nothing but the 373 Kelvin. Means when we want to convert these measuring scales into one to another, means nothing but degree Celsius convert into Kelvin, then we have to add 273.15 Kelvin into degree Celsius. Then we will get the Kelvin. Now convert Kelvin into Celsius, then we have to subtract 273.15 Kelvin from given Kelvin temperature, then we'll get the degree Celsius. Here one side, right side of it, the diagram is shown the Kelvin as well as degree and the Fahrenheit, the symbolic representation, and left side of this thermometer it is shown the how these temperature convert one form to the another, that is Fahrenheit to degree Celsius, Kelvin. These are the formulas we have to follow, then we are able to convert all these temperature is same for all, but only measuring scales, methods to measures are different. Now we will study these temperature, how we can represent into the graphical representation form. You can see the first graph for the boiling of water. On y-axis of the graph temperature scale is plotted, and on x-axis time is plotted. You can see the slant line starts from 20 degrees Celsius, means water is at room temperature. Then it will absorb the energy and it steadily start to increase the temperature within time. Heat it continuously, it absorb the heat continuously. Then the water molecules start to move very fastly, and at one certain stage water molecules reach at 100 degrees Celsius. Then water is boiling very rapidly and start to convert into vapor state. See in this second graph, same scales are plotted on y and x axis. Now observe the initial temperature, it is highest. The temperature decreases by increasing the time. When it comes at 0 degree, there is a straight line. It indicates that the whole water molecules have same degree temperature because their internal or latent heat is same. This is the state of the water. It converts into solid ice. Again temperature lowers below than the 0 degree Celsius. We can see one more graph is shown there, that is nothing but the freezing of the water. Water freezes and get converted into the solid state. It is the natural as well as artificial freezing process. In natural process, the freezing process takes place into winter season. Now you can see the same graph that is represented as a B. Here temperature steadily decreases from highest to below 0 degree temperature. Means this temperature falls down manually. We are provided a specific type of the condition. Due to that, steadily temperature lowers from highest to lowest. So this graph represent the freezing of water but artificially lowering the temperature. Students, now you see the fourth graph. Here graphical representation of the physical state of water. In it, ice temperature is shown as minus 20 degrees Celsius, as like the polar cap or glacier. It absorbs heat, then the temperature rises up to 0 degree temperature. Still it is in an ice form. All ice particles have same absorbed temperature, same amount of energy it absorbs. It will remain same state because their latent heat energy is the same. So their freezing temperature is also constant. All are in a same state. Then it will start to convert into liquid state because the particles are continuously absorbing, and when they are absorbing, their internal energy is slowly continuously increasing. Due to that start to change their state of matter. Then that water, when it reach at 100 degrees Celsius, it starts to boil. All water molecules have same amount of absorbed temperature. Then each water molecule convert into vapor state by slightly more than 100 degree temperature, because they are continuously absorbing the heat. They breaks all bonding, and all water molecules are absorbed as maximum amount of heat energy. In this way, we studied water changes its physical state of matter by changing temperature. See, in that diagram you can see there are three states of matter as shown, like as a solid, liquid and gases or vapors by changing their temperature. This we are observing in nature as per the change in season. In winter season we are looking that is a snow. In rainy season water is in a liquid form which converts from the vapors, and in summer days we are looking large humidity, means nothing but the water vapors are in a large amount into the atmosphere. So these three are the physical state of matter which are interconvertible into each other by changing temperature and pressure. Now we will study one more phenomena, that is nothing but the interconversion of water. Solid ice converts into liquid on heating, and that liquid again on cooling convert into the solid. Liquid on heating converted into the vapors, but that vapors converts into the liquid by cooling. On cooling it converts. So these are the interconversion of the liquid takes place by change in their temperature and pressure. Now we will study the one more phenomena, that is nothing but the freezing of water. You better know that what is the freezing of water. Nowadays we are doing this phenomena in our refrigerator, having one of the chamber, one of the place that is called as the freezer. The conversion of liquid into the solid state by losing their energy, that process is known as freezing. It is an exothermic reaction because we are taking out energy from water molecules. Water molecules have highest energy. They are continuously moving. That energy we are taking out. Due to that we are saying freezing is an exothermic reaction. And then that all water molecules convert into solid state because their geometrical structures get changed. In this second picture you can see that one of the glass bottle broken. Do you know why? Because the volume of ice is more than the volume of water. 1 liter water molecules are able to come easily into 1 liter of glass bottle. But when it converts into ice, the same amount of water when converted into the ice, then that ice particle of water occupies more space of that bottle than the water molecules. So they expand. They applying the pressure on the wall of glass bottle, and due to that, that bottle means nothing but the glass bottle broken and ice comes out. Solid form of the ice has more surface area, more volume than the liquid state of water. When volume increases, at that time their density also decreases. In this way, one more phenomena we studied, that is of interconversion, is nothing but the freezing of water. It is a one type of the phenomena. With the help of exothermic reaction, we can convert the state of matter from one form to the another. Students, carefully observe now the ice cold glass tumbler. On that glass tumbler, water droplets are present. You can observe the water droplets on that glass. Tell me, water is filled inside the glass. Then how droplets comes on the surface of that ice cold water glass? Do you have question? The question bears in your mind or not? From where this water comes? That water, is it come from that glass? From that glass to outside of it? Is it like this? No, it is not possible. Glass is not anywhere leak. From the glass, water will not come out. Then from where this water comes? Let's discuss, or we will study. Here it is written, atmospheric water vapors lose their energy and condense on the surface of glass tumbler, which contains ice cold or ice cubes, ice cold water or ice cubes. Do you know these droplets are appeared on condensation of atmospheric vapors? When it come in contact with ice cold glass, that is glass which is made by silica, at the surface of it, then that water vapors lose their own energy. They are in a high energetic state. They lose their energy and converts into the liquid state. That process is known as condensation. This is exothermic process. In this way, number of droplets are formed on the surface of the glass because that much moisture of air come in contact, or air rub on the surface of the glass. When it come in contact with the surface, that water vapors lose their energy and converts into the liquid state. It releases their own internal energy and becomes less energetic, that is nothing but the water droplet. In this way, we can say that the droplets which we are looking into the rain, the same way droplets of the rain forms into the atmosphere when condensation of water vapors, means nothing but the cloud, takes place. This is one more phenomena we studied with the help of one of the example, that is the crushed ice we have taken, and we easily able to understand what is the condensation. Now, some more phenomena are remain, that is related to interconversion of this state of matter. Now we will discuss about the one more natural phenomena. This is natural as well as some of the way we can say nowadays this is artificial, because we are utilizing this phenomena in our laboratory. to do different type of the process or separation method. That phenomena is nothing but the sublimation. Sublimation is a process by which a solid on heating directly changes into vapors or gaseous state without changing into liquid state. Reversely, we can say that on cooling, gas directly changes into solid state. That process is known as sublimation. For example, naphthalene, anthracene, camphor, iodine, dried CO2 are the example of sublimating substances. But student, you may thought that why it so? How it disappears and where it goes? Only those substances whose vapor pressure becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure much before their respective melting point are capable of undergoing sublimating process. Students, sublime solids have weak interparticular force of attraction. On heating at a low flame or by absorbing energy from the surrounding, these particles vibrate and separates from each other, then changes into gases or vapor state without coming into the liquid state. These vapors again solidifies. That process is known as sublimation. See in the diagram. In that diagram, in the china dish, sodium chloride and ammonium chloride is taken. Ammonium chloride is a sublimating substance, get deposited at inner edge of the inverted funnel. Cotton plug is not allowing to escape the ammonium chloride vapors. It get condensed at neck as well as little part of the inverted funnel. Sodium chloride is a non-sublimating substance. It remains into the china dish. There is no change into the sodium chloride, but ammonium chloride is easily separated out from the sodium chloride. Both are white crystalline solids. Now see the following examples. At the peak of mountain, pressure and temperature is less. Atmospheric moisture convert into solid form, that is snow. At very cold place, snow does not melt but sublimes directly into the vapors. Another example you can take as a camphor. If you keep into air, it disappears within some time. Same way you can see that violet colored iodine crystals that sublimates and deposits at lower edge of the glass watch, otherwise china dish. Means it vaporizes, it comes upside. When it comes upside, again it deposits at the outer edge of the china dish. One more example here we will discuss, that is nothing but the naphthalene balls, moth balls. These are kept in between woolen clothes to repel insects. During summer temperature, very hotness we feel due to that temperature is quite high. So the naphthalene balls sublime easily. Solid state directly changes into vapors with passage of time. Then the balls become smaller in size and at the last it get disappeared. Let us verify our learnt phenomena with the help of demonstrative activity. We'll take chalk powder, ammonium chloride, funnel with cotton plug and china dish, 1 spirit lamp. Then we'll take ammonium chloride into china dish, which is white crystalline solid. In it amorphous powder, chalk powder, and we'll keep funnel inverted with cotton plug. So the gases which comes out that get entrapped into the funnel. Ammonium chloride sublimates that changes into the gaseous state from solid. It converted into vapors and these vapors get entrapped inside the funnel. You can see that the gaseous form of the sublimating substance, that is ammonium chloride, vaporizes without passing into the liquid state. You can see there is no liquid. It converts into the gaseous state or vapor state. That process is known as sublimation. At inner wall of the funnel, we are able to get the deposition of ammonium chloride and sodium chloride remains into the china dish. In this way, on heating, ammonium chloride or sodium chloride are separating from each other. This method is known as sublimating substance. It is endothermic process because heat is absorbed in this process. Due to that, this process is known as endothermic process. After this, we will understand the phenomena of evaporation. It is the process in which liquid converts into gaseous state at any temperature below its boiling point. This endothermic process is known as evaporation. Evaporation causes cooling effect. For example, common salt is obtained by evaporation of seawater. Student, now we will learn about this process in detail. We know that the particles of liquid are constantly moving in different directions. As a result, they are randomly moving and collide on each other. Due to this collision, the particles of the liquid are moving with different speed with different kinetic energy. Some of the particles have enough energy to break the force of attraction in between the particles. Then these particles escape from the surface of the liquid in the form of gas or vapors, but below its boiling temperature. When it converts into gases or vapor state, at that time, this liquid state absorbs the latent heat and convert into the vapors or gases state, and that causes the cooling effect. It decreases the temperature of surrounding, decreases the temperature of that particular area where the liquid is present. Hence, it causes the cooling effect. This evaporation phenomena is very useful for the regulation of water cycle. Now students, we will learn about the rate of evaporation depends upon the different following factors. First factor is nothing but the temperature. The rate of evaporation increases with increasing temperature of the liquid, as well as by increasing the wind speed. Then also the rate of evaporation increases. Another one, the nature of liquid. If the nature of liquid is volatile, then this volatile liquid evaporates faster than the non-volatile. Volatile liquids boils below the 100 degree temperature, that is a less than 100 degree temperature. For example, alcohol boiling point is a 78 degree, acetone boiling point is a 56 degree. So they are quickly evaporates than the non-volatile liquids. Non-volatile liquid temperature is more than 100. So 100 degree temperature, that non-volatile liquids takes time for evaporation. So rate of evaporation of volatile liquid is more than non-volatile liquid. Another factor that is nothing but the humidity. The amount of water vapors present in air is termed as humidity. When water vapors in air is low, then air is dry. And when these vapors are very high, then that air is damp. The humidity in air is low, then the rate of evaporation is higher. Our body sweat in season, that is summer season. At that time, body evaporates the amount of water in the form of sweat readily, so we feel cool and comfortable because it maintains the temperature. Evaporation causes cooling effect of our body and help to maintain our body temperature. The wet clothes dry quickly because rate of evaporation is faster. But when the humidity of air is higher, then the rate of evaporation is slow. In a rainy season, air is very humid. Then wet clothes get dried slowly. Our body sweat not evaporate quickly. It remains on our body and we feel very sticky. So rate of evaporation is slow when air is high humid. We can say that evaporation is inversely proportional to the humidity of the atmosphere. So these are the factors, and one more important factor want to discuss, that is surface area. It plays very important role. Surface area increases, rate of evaporation increases. That many molecules come in contact with another state and they quickly absorb energy and changes their state of matter. So due to that, surface area plays important role, that increases the rate of evaporation. Hence, this phenomena is helpful to change the state of matter from one form to the another form. There are number of state of matter we studied in this chapter. So this was the last phenomena. Now we will differentiate these two phenomena, that is boiling and evaporation. Boiling occurs only on heating the liquid, but evaporation occurs its own without heating. Another difference is nothing but boiling occurs at specific temperature known as boiling point, and evaporation occurs at all temperature. There is no a particular type of the temperature. Boiling is a bulk phenomena and evaporation is a surface phenomena. Boiling does not cause cooling effect, but evaporation causes cooling effect. On boiling of liquid, vapors forms, that may be water. On evaporation of liquid, forms gas. It not forms vapors, it forms gas. Students, after studying all interconversion phenomena of states of matter, we come to conclude that matter can neither be created nor destroy, but can only be transformed from one form to the another form.